Hello, guys. Excuse me. All right. Hey, how's it going? Give everyone a few minutes to come in, but what's going on today? It's Friday afternoon. Gonna do some Plamo no trend. It has been a while. So, you may notice that it's just me, the co-host, and my good buddy Josh is not here today, but there's a very cool trend that was on Twitter recently, and hey Chris, hey Eduardo, and so I really wanted to do an episode. I've been talking with Josh, just not been able to line up the times for us to do it together, but we want to, so we're gonna try for like a future episode, try to get back to doing an episode every now and then with the two of us when we can get our schedules to line up properly. We're much farther apart now than we were, especially time-wise. I mean, like even when I was living in Korea, Josh and I were pretty far apart, but now it's much farther time-wise, like opposite. So if you guys couldn't tell by the title of the video, the trends that we're going to take a look at here. Let me put it up on the screen. Not that one. That one. There we go. So this is not it, but we need to take a look at that. So here's the trend we're going to be taking a look at today, which basically is to show me your cool Gal-pla or Gal-pla, which interestingly, in Japanese, they spelled it Gal-pla and not Gal-pla. I think Gal-pla would have been more funnier, but Gal is a different thing. But I've never heard like Mecca Musume. Basically, they're talking about Mecca Musume kits, just mixing gal as in like the, I don't know, term for a girl, and pla, obviously. But I've never heard that before I saw this hashtag. I've never seen Gal-pla. But anyway, some of you guys may know what gyaru is. Gyaru is also kind of a trend among Japanese girls there. So that would kind of, I don't know, make a little bit more sense. That would be something that at least I've heard before, but garu, just garu is different. Anyway, so, oof. All right, if I don't want to splash water everywhere. Isn't it a lifestyle gyaru? Yeah, that gyaru. We don't need to really necessarily get in. If you guys are interested, I mean, if you're curious, if you are like interested in Japanese culture, you probably already know what gyaru is. But it's just like typically when you see like the Japanese girls with like the super like overdone tan, not always necessarily, but that's usually like a key feature. They have like the fake tan a lot and usually have like some really intense makeup and like hair's styled big, and they have like tons of accessories and stuff. Those are kind of some of the main features of gyaru, but just look it up if you're interested. I guess Gyaru is the spelling. But since we have the Mecca Musume contest currently ongoing, I thought it'd be cool to take a look at this hashtag that I saw come up, which is basically just to show your cool Mecca Musume kits, basically. So that's what we can take a look at today. But before we get into that, I just want to do this real quick, which is I still have this kit to give away. Tried to give it away before, but the person who was selected at random to win it has not replied to me, and I gave them another chance, and I've still not heard anything. So I've got to pick a new winner for this. Let's go ahead and do that first. Let me go ahead and go to our random YouTube comment picker, and we want to filter duplicate users, and I think that's it. 2 + 4 = 6. I know that. YouTube comments. Okay, so we'll do this real quick and then get into some Gal-pla. Let's see. Isn't it gonna say? Oh, okay. Amount of unique comments. There you go. 309. Start. Here we are, and it's gonna be the reverse clock. I asked you guys to enter the giveaway to let me know your favorite Mecca Musume kit, and he said one of my favorite Mecca Musume kits from Kotobukiya that I have built is probably the base lard animation version for being a great combination of the frame arms and Megami device styles. Yeah, definitely. I'd have to agree. That's a very good one. All right, let me go ahead and find his comment real quick while we're here so you guys can see that I'm definitely letting them know that they won. And I just gotta wait to hopefully hear from them. Reverse clock, here he is. Wait. You won. Get in touch with me to claim your prize. Please, and thanks. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, I'm just going to also pin that in case I need to find it again later. Easier. Okay. Now that's out of the way, let's check out some Gal-pla. Okay, and hopefully he'll get back to me so I can get that kit sent off and out of my office. All right. First up, let's see. These are going to be organized by top, which is fine. Okay. From Bros. So usually it's Josh's job to give the spiel at the beginning of the episode, but just in case, if you guys have not seen any episodes before, we haven't done one for a while. I actually looked in the previous episode, it was like 11 months ago, so it's been almost a year. But yeah, it was before I moved. And so, but anyway, basically what we're going to be doing is just taking a look at some stuff on Twitter, some cool stuff on Twitter. And this is something that they do a lot in like the Japanese Twitter. I've not really seen it too much in any other form, but they'll have like a certain hashtag, which will be like the theme. And then people just post their model kits like based on whatever the hashtag is. So like I said, this one's just show your cool Mecca Musume, essentially. Yes, so good point there with that one. Chris saying that the light is jarring. I wish there was a clear image. Yeah, this is a good example of something like if you were building this kit and entering this for a contest, and any of you guys who are planning on entering this contest, please don't send photos like this. It's great for like online, but like as far as like judging the kit, it's very difficult to see. And you know, when you know, as judges, when we're looking at stuff, if you can't see it well, then we can't know for sure how good or not the quality is. And so you have to err on the side of not good because, you know, you don't know. But I mean, you can see some stuff here. I mean, this is a cool design based on what I can tell, and it's a cool photo for online. I'm just saying, just a heads up if you guys want to enter something like this for a contest. There's a couple things like a little bit of rough paint up here. I'm guessing that's probably the paint just like a little bit scratched from maybe he had something plugged in there and then switched it up a little bit. This part of the backpack almost looks unpainted, and I think it's a clear part, that's why. So it's probably not, it's just decals stuck on top of that clear part there. This would be, well, it's definitely a mix of stuff, but some of those parts are from the Asura Tamamo no Mae, I believe, and also the Susanoo. That's what the backpack parts are from, and some of the like the leg parts and stuff. Some people have been asking. I've gotten the question a few times if and when I'm going to be reviewing the AUV Susanoo kit from Megami Device, and I'm currently building it at home, so I will be reviewing that for you guys in the near future. But the other thing, I mean, like the gold here, this part, which I'm guessing is like a scratch built sword, because it's kind of hard to tell just how big it is because it looks a little bit like in the foreground, a little bit like what do you call that, depth anyway of the image. But I mean, you can tell it's big. And scratch belt, it's a cool design to be scratch belt. I mean, but like these like corner bits are like all different. I don't know if that's intentional, if they're supposed to look like not even, but like kind of like they're kind of going around in a circle, like a saw blade sort of, but they don't quite look quite right for that either. And then like this part is just like a little bit rough. So like the scratch belt section of that. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's a cool thing. The color kind of theme with the lighting, like the red lighting on it, you know, matches well with like the color of the kit, so it looks cool. That's from Bros. And again, if you guys, you know, if you are into any of this stuff, you know, if you're on Twitter and you see some cool stuff, give these people, give these guys a follow. This one's interesting. This is the Executioner kit, I believe. There you go. That's that right there at the bottom, the Bullet Knights Executioner Bride version in particular, a new version of that. But all this decorative stuff is all just hand done. But it almost looks like that's decal or something. You can see like the outline of that, like it's just like a sticker. So I wonder if what that is like a massively, yeah, Chris is saying the floral details are masterful, holy cow. But it looks like those are stickers, so I would say those are probably stickers from like hey Patrick, is Plamo no Trend is back, sort of. It's just me today, but you know, hopefully we'll get back to Josh and I. Those look like stickers like that would be used for like nail art, so that you would get, they're quite thick. I've never seen stickers quite like that, but that seems like that's probably what those are. The placement of them is really nice. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even if that's not like just hand done, I mean, I could see, you know, once the trouble would be how to get rid of the outline of that, because it's basically like a really thick sticker outline. I guess one thing that you could do would be like to add, using like putty to add a texture on top of the armor, and then like bringing that texture all the way up to like the edge of the actual raised part would help to kind of cover the edge of the sticker. I guess if you wanted to add like kind of a rough texture on the armor, could be one way to hide the outline of that sticker. But that's I mean, it is a pretty ingenious use of those stickers. I'm guessing that's what they are, like stickers for nail art. I've never seen anything quite like that, but if I remember to look this up again later when I'm with my wife, I'll ask her. My wife would know a lot more about that, if this is the kind of thing that exists for nail art. I guess so. But that's cool. So I would assume that this is also still maybe some kind of work in progress. It looks painted, but I mean, because of the fact that the stickers are on there the way they are, and you got this big, on this gold part, this very large, that looks like an actual nub that's like not sanded down at all. And like on here, it's a gold molded, it's a molded gold part. So that's the kind of plastic that like, even if it's sanded perfectly smooth, you'll still see a mark from the nub, just because of like how the injected gold will flow through during the molding process. So like you can never get rid of that mark, unfortunately. But that looks like that's still like an actual raised thing that's not even sanded down all the way. So I would guess this is still a work in progress, maybe, but I don't know. Or maybe that's it. Whoa, what happened? Kind of jumped, I guess, and we're getting a White Claw ad. This, let's translate the tweet. What's that? Rochan is so cute. Okay, anyway, yes, that's not really too much to see here with that. I mean, I will say nice painting on the, I mean, the hair. I don't think that face is original either. Definitely not. So the face is repainted or something. What's that face from? I don't know. It looks like a pre-printed face, but the eyes look different. So maybe the eyes, maybe that's what it is. Maybe just the eyes are cut out. It looks like, yeah, those are like some fake eyes. I've seen people add those like doll eyes, basically, that people add into their Musume kits. It looks like you very, very carefully cut out the eyes of the original face and then added some like fake doll eyes in, like you add them in from the back. That's what that looks like. But anyway, the painting on the hair looks nice. It's nice kind of grayish color there. Here's a nice one from Maggots 4419. That's a nice painting on that. Looks really sharp. Should mention too, like I said, the reason we're taking a look at this hashtag is just because, I mean, it's of interest to me. I like these kits, but also we have the contest ongoing. So I hope that taking a look at some cool stuff, also those of you guys who are working on entries for the contest, you know, it helps to kind of get some ideas going. And we won't be able to look through, I'm sure, all of the posts under this particular hashtag. So I mean, again, if you guys are on Twitter, check out the hashtag, just copy and paste it from the title of the video if you know you're not Japanese. And you know, check some of this stuff out on Twitter. hopefully it can help you guys get some ideas and stuff for the contest. What's your take on hand painting eyes versus waterslide decal eyes? Do you notice a difference? Yeah, Chris, I mean, like, yeah, sure, of course you can notice a difference depending on like who's doing it. I mean, like I've seen, all the entire range of hand painted eyes, from really bad ones to amazing ones that look much better than decals do. It just kind of depends on what your ability is. I mean, some people are able to hand paint eyes. I mean, like, it's incredible. It's like, and then they use like a mix of hand painting and airbrushing. That's when it gets like, that's like some of the best ones I've seen are usually a mix of both, because what they'll do is they'll like hand paint the outline, but then like for the actual iris to get like a soft gradient or stuff, sometimes you'll see ones that have like multiple colors and they're using like I don't know, just either multiple colors, either a gradient or not, but they're masking and using an airbrush, which is just pretty intense. I mean, because it's such a tiny space and like it's such a tiny amount of paint that you need for that. But like to actually go through the process of doing like 2, 3, 4 colors in like just the iris part of the eye, I mean, like it's a lot of work. But I mean, for kits like this, I mean, like where they have a face, I mean, some of them go for like the more like robot looking face where it's not so much of a thing. But I mean, the face is really important to the character. So I mean, like you see kits, like I like followed works in progress on kits like this, where I mean, you can tell just by like the work in progress that like half the time they spent on the kit was on the face, and then like the other half is on the entire whole rest of the kit. So I mean, like the face is super important for these, like to just convey the whatever expression, emotion they're going for, kind of the face, the character of it. Since it's not just like a Gundam where it's just a big robot, it doesn't really necessarily have any personality. You're getting a lot of personality that comes from just like the pose and the style of the rest of the body, but you get so much of it from the face, right? But this is really nice anyway. You can see one of the things, is it? Oh, okay, maybe not. I was thinking that this is like pen aligned very lightly with like some blue, but I think maybe that's just some of the paint is a little bit scuffed or something a little bit there. But anyway, very nice colors on this, I'll say. And just like the photography is really nice. Like this kind of super clean, crisp, very nicely lit photography is very nice. The eyes here, what really set off? Yeah, for sure. I mean, so this is like a really good example of what you're asking about. Well, kind of not exactly what you were asking about, but what we were talking about, what I was talking about how important the eyes are. I mean, like, yeah, this is a really good example of that. And I mean, looking at this, you can see like even like the tiny little bit of red, like on like the side of the eye, and the gradient of the blue in there. And then I think you can see like that little bit of like white circle. I can't tell if that's an actual reflection or if that's painted on. It's very possible that that's just painted on, but you can see the reflection of the ring light here on the hair, I believe. So that might be an actual reflection. But I mean, I've seen sometimes where they will just paint on the reflection in the eyes, something along those lines. But anyway, that's a really nice one. Speaking of robot faces, here's an example of that. Oh, nice stray blue frame colors. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Here you go. Gal-pla. Yes, that's the Bandai kit. What's the name of the kit? I can't even remember the name of the kit offhand. But that's the one that did come with a human face and a robot face. But otherwise, not too much else to see there with that one. This one, again, another example of if you're entering in a contest, please don't enter a photo like this because the black is just so dark you can't see anything. I mean, it looks kind of interesting with the mask, and I mean, it's definitely a custom build rearranging of the parts of the, once again, the Susanoo with this one. This is not the same person that did that first one we looked at, I don't think. Here's something interesting. This is the Soul Raptor kit, right? I believe. Or it's some kind of kit bash anyway, but a lot of photo effects. Again, if this is for a contest, please don't add this much effects to the photo. It's definitely not it's not allowed. It wouldn't even be allowed if you did. I would ask you to resend the photos. But like the photo effects, even like the scratch on the arm and like the blood splash and all that, obviously the lens flare there. All that's just kind of added in afterwards, all this effect. Hey, it's cool. So do something like this, like for sharing online with your kids. I've seen some really cool examples of stuff like this done with Gundam model kits and stuff. And I mean, it's definitely cool for just sharing online, just not for a contest. But since we can't see those all that well, we can move on here. From Paki from EQ, I guess. I don't know. This one, I don't know what this is. Looks familiar. But and like the character in the back too, it looks familiar. If you guys know, let me know. But even the kit, is it a kit or I don't know, what is this from? Or is it just like a repainted figure or something of some sort? One of you guys maybe let me know in the comments if you're watching, you know. But again, really cool how you get just you know, a lot of character, obviously, from just the character, the expression, and even the character out of focus in the background. It's pretty nice. That blue is really Grand blue, maybe. I mean, if you say so, I wouldn't be able to say that's it because I've heard of Grand blue, but I don't know anything about it. This is the one thing I saw on one of the questions, and just in case we don't get to it, I'll briefly mention this. But for the USA Gundam TV live stream that we were supposed to have this morning, and if you guys saw, that's delayed until Monday morning. But I'd seen one of the questions somebody posted on there for that was asking, like, what's the hardest part about painting a Mecca Musume kit, something along those lines. And I can tell you that, like, a lot of the kits, especially those from Kotobukiya, have a lot of ABS parts in them, and painting those ABS parts can be very tricky. I mean, you can very easily break the parts if you're painting them with lacquer paints. I've done that before, and you know, I've seen it happen a lot. So that's definitely something that can be dangerous. I don't think that's what's happening here. In this case, you can see just the paint's a little chipped there. But nah, I mean, cool colors. I just don't know what this is from. That's the trouble. Here's the one we were looking at earlier. But yeah, so this is from different from all it looks. I mean, like, just the way that it's photographed and like the angle and everything, I mean, does kind of remind me of this one. So I was wondering if it was the same person, but it's not. So we saw that one. Here's another White Claw ad. Yumi Gen. Yes. This is the style. Well, I guess not all of these, but at least that first one was of that style that you see sometimes looking at kits like this on Twitter, where they have just so much stuff added onto it. I mean, I guess there's people that are into it. It doesn't do it for me, though. It's not for me, this style of just having so much stuff on there. I mean, I've seen it done well in an interesting way occasionally, but usually it's just kind of like way over the top. But I mean, I get the style. It's just not to my taste. These other ones are pretty interesting, though. This one, it's much kind of less going on. The color scheme is a bit weird, like that bright green mixed with that purple and pink are very clashing colors. So and then you got the gold, and then you got the blue accents in there as well. And I feel like if he or she, I guess, I don't know, but if this person in that red, that bright red on the lance as well, just sticking with like white, pink, purple for like the three main colors, and then some gold accents, I think probably would have been enough. Not having the green and blue and red in there, I think would have been a better way to go color scheme wise, because it's an interesting kind of design, just use of the parts and everything. It's just a lot of colors going on there. We got a Miku on a bike. What kit is that? I'm not sure. I think that is, I mean, it's just a kit bash of different parts and things. But this one's interesting because I've mentioned this before, that whenever I've seen people try to kit bash like Gundam model kits and Musume model kits, whether it be like a 30 minutes missions, or in this case, this is that Chinagai, I believe, was the name of the HG kit. It's not something that I often see done very well. It's usually very jarring, like, because this is I mean, like, generally following what people do. It's usually like at the knee, they have it transition from the like thigh of the Musume part to the robot part, and then like in the arms and torso would be like the torso and the head and the upper arms from the Musume kit, and then like near, or either in this case it's like right above the elbow, but like at the elbow, then it transitions to the robot arms, and then they usually stick like a couple of pieces of like the Gundam chest or something. Some aspects of the Gundam are stuck onto the chest, and some aspect of the Gundam stuck on the head. Generally follows this outline. When kit bashing two kits like that, like an HG Gundam kit, in this case the XS, and a Musume kit, and most of the time I think it doesn't look that good, because the transition between the parts looks a bit jarring, especially like proportionally. Like you'll have long thighs and then like really short lower legs. Now this one is an example where the lower legs, it's actually, this is above the knee, that's part of the thigh there, so it actually is kind of the excess leg, it's going up above the knee a little bit. But this is a pretty good example. It looks pretty good, I gotta say. Definitely one of the better ones that I've seen, for sure. So we also included like the shoulders, rather than just the backpack of the XS, also including the shoulders up on there as well, adds to make a kind of nice shape. Adding the extra bulk up at the top gives it a nice silhouette, I think. It's a good mix of the parts there, pretty good. I'm currently doing something like this. The transitioning is hard, yeah, for sure. So I mean, like, that's why I've never tried it, just because I know I just haven't had a good idea where I thought, yeah, that can work. It's difficult, definitely, I know. And usually what you will have to do is probably do some putty work, which it looks like what he's done here, to meld the female torso with the front torso of the XS, just filling that in with putty to transition in between there. And yeah, it's just a lot of putty and sanding work and everything. Rita330 here with a very crispy Susanoo kit. That's really nice. Interesting modification here to the claws at the back. Cutting out the claws are a little bit different. They're not only there's 3, I believe. Not only cut out the middle claw, but also shave down the shape of that instead of being pointed. It's slightly different from what's on the original kit, just because, like I said, the only reason I know is because I'm building it at the moment. There's some other modifications with the equipment and everything up there, it looks like, as well. I think that's a mix of these parts up here, I believe, are from the Durga kit up at the top. So it's a cool mix. It's mostly the Susanoo kit, just with some very, very nice modifications. Everybody hit that like button right quick. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, sure. If the feeling takes you. I mean, it's a great looking kit. So it's one of those ones that, like, the kit by itself looks so good, it's really difficult to mess it up. But I mean, it's a nicely modeled one for sure. Really nicely painted. This kind of metallic, dark purplish color looks really nice, mixed with like that matte, like satiny finish black. It looks really nice, those colors there. The fingerprint on the red is bothering me a lot, unfortunately. And the fact that the blades are painted to look like matching the clear red, but they're obviously not clear red. That's also just kind of like a pet peeve. I feel like if it's not a clear part, you're trying to make it look like it's matching with like the rest of your clear parts, you're just not going to be able to do it unless you just remold it as an actual clear part and then paint it. And then you have to match the color, because these are molded in red. And if you have this is just like plain clear and then trying to paint it clear red to match the clear red, then you have to match the color too. That would be a challenge as well. So I would have opted to just paint these blades in a different color if it was me. I mean, just, you can paint it in just like a, I don't know, dark gunmetal or kind of metallic-y kind of blade color. But again, that's just objective thing for me. I usually find that when you have a kit with like all these clear red accents and you have a part that you're trying to paint to look like that, you just can't do it. If it's not actually clear, it's not going to match. Zach, have you seen the Nuke Matrix, Cyber Forest, Hurricane, or Avenger Jaeger? Yeah. I just built it the other day. I have it right over here. Let me show you. It was just right here on my desk, and I just moved it to over there earlier today. But it's a pretty cool kit. This lady. Let me switch up the view here for you guys. Give you a little preview of this kit. Like half of the kit is just the wings. It was a very, like building the wings for this kit was very tedious. So it took a long time. But probably more than half of the kit, because like the body, you know, is pretty straightforward. I guess there's a lot going on in the legs because you have like the claws in here at the feet as well that are like folded up in there. And the torso actually has like a lot of color separation. It's kind of hard for me to show you guys right now, but obviously I'll be reviewing that soon for you guys. But it's a very interesting kit. One thing that I didn't notice at all, just looking at like the box art and photos of the kit before building it, I didn't notice at all that it doesn't have regular arms. It just has like gun arms. It has like the like cyborg arms that like all the Nuke Matrix kits have for like the unarmored version, but for like the fully armored version, it just has gun hands, which is interesting. So there you go. Looks like the Vulture. Yeah, definitely. The Spider-Man villain, right? Certainly no expert in that, but I've seen the movie anyway. And then we have this, speaking of the base lard, but kind of gave the base lard a little bit of the styling of like the Bullet Knights Lancer launcher, kind of. That's not what that part is. I don't know what that part is. What is that part? Is that from, well, I'm not sure. These parts, the clear blue parts, I believe are from like the Ray Falk. I don't know exactly if that's the right pronunciation, that frame arms kit. The gun, like lance cannon part, though, I'm not sure. Is that also from that kit? I don't know. What do you guys know? Nice painting on this, though. And I mean, the combination of the shield and lance or cannon. I guess it's a cannon. It's not. It looks like a cannon. The combination of those parts with the base line, I mean, looks pretty cool. The clear blue parts, I think fit pretty well too, especially with like the clear blue parts being used for the back. I don't remember what color those are originally on that kit, but those are probably taken from a different kit. They're swapped out because the ones that came with the base lard kit they weren't clear blue. I don't remember what color they were offhand, but it was something different, I believe. But really nice, soft, looks like maybe slightly shaded white, and then with the little bits of gold trim accents around there are really nice on that. And then that nice orange yellow, a little bit of gradient there with the darker yellow to lighter yellow there on the hair. Very nice. And just the face matches with the pose, with the angle of the photo really nicely there. Let's see. I'll be looking forward to that review. That one looks interesting. Yeah. Next week for sure. I'll review that one for you guys. I was hoping to get the review done for it by the end of this week, but not gonna happen. Here from Huxai 214. Sounds interesting. What's that body part? That's from the Durga, right? This body section, but the head is different. I don't know if it's the Durga. Obviously this like long hair ponytail part, is that from like the stylet? That looks a little bit different though. I don't know. Is that from the Durga kit? Oh, I might have to look it up. It's a kind of a arms girl Durga. I don't think it has that hair part. No, definitely not. And the head, I think, is different. Let's see. It kind of has that. The hair is differently shaped in the front. So I think that's the stylet hair, but it's just modified to have just the part over to one side. Interesting. Okay. But man, yeah, I love the painting and the colors in this. The painting on the skin tone is really nice. It's not easy to do, but that all looks really good. And just the mix of that bright pink, which I believe those are those clear bright pink parts would be from the Aoi version of the Asura Archer, I believe. If I remember correctly. The ponytail is from the Jinrai, right? Yes, I always forget about that one. There you go. But yeah, the clear pink parts mixed with that, again, like a really nice satiny finish black. It's not quite black though; it's like a super dark purple color. And I guess it's like, is it slightly metallic? Because it looks like this and this, it's the same part I can see, but it's just like catching the light very differently. It's getting a lot, so it's like more metallic than it looks here. It just looks like it's like just a satin, just kind of regular paint, but the way it's catching the light over here makes it look like it's actually slightly metallic. Interesting. But yeah, really cool mix of the parts there. These are just from an armor option set. I don't think there's any Musume kit that comes with that set as like part of the kit, not like in the frame arms girl line or anything like that. It's just like an armor set, an MSG option armor set, like the Beware of Blast decal there on the sword. I guess if that's like a beam effect of the sword, I guess Beware of Blast. But here is another good example of this part being painted and this part being clear. I mean, from a distance, it's harder to tell, but I mean, looking at it in any sort of detail, I mean, you can just tell right away that that part's painted to look like it's matching the clear parts. And again, I don't know, it doesn't quite work, but the painting of everything else looks great. This one also, it's eye decals. I wonder what the percent is. Chris, you were asking earlier about like hand painted versus decal eyes. I wonder what the percentage is for people who, like modelers who do like fully paint these kits and like doing stuff like this that's like fully painted and customized. The percentage of people who use decals versus people who hand paint in the eyes, I wonder if it's like pretty evenly split. I don't know. I feel like most people will just use the decals because, I mean, why not? There's a lot of really great decals that exist out there for Frame Arms Girl and Megami Device kits. Like these are decals, I'm pretty certain. But these would be like from one of like the option decal set, if not like a what would you call it? I don't know. Just like a not third party, but just like somebody who makes eye decals and sell them. So like a garage kit decals. What would you call it? I don't know. But I know that there's people in Japan who make decals and stuff like this for these type of kits and sell them, including eye decals like that. So in multiple different faces here for this face is different from the previous face, right? This one's a little bit different expression, kind of looking off to the side there. That looks cool. Again, really nice painting of the skin tone, the gold, and mixed with like the frosty black and white. Really cool color scheme on this, and just like the customization of it. It's really cool using the classic wild hands, like that golden skin tone. Yeah, the golden, like the tan skin tone colors go really well together. And the Megami Device classic square shape. I don't know what you exactly would call that. That shape up there is kind of, it's very Megami Device. These parts here are interesting. These kind of curvy parts, what are those from? And the leg parts. The parts on the side of the leg, what kit is that from? Interesting. What is that? I'm not sure. You guys know? Offhand? They're a really cool mix of parts. I mean, everything goes together really nicely. And like this is all customized as far as I know too. Like these forearms, that this kind of black detail wrapped around there. And then down here. So I mean, like there's customization going on with the body here for sure too. I haven't built any Musume kits, but do they have lines for eyes so you can paint them yourself, or is it just plain? Lorenz, yeah, usually it's just like, it's not flat, but I mean like there is a kind of indent for like the outline of the eye, but that's it. There's not like a lot of molded detail for like the entire all the details of the eye. It's like a very soft edge around, like it's not even like a very hard line around the outside of the eye detail. That's about it. This is really nice. I like that. Very nice colors and painting everything on that. This one is pretty wild. Oh, that's interesting. Definitely like this one more than the first one. This one, I mean, the parts are very weird. This is like we were talking about earlier, like mixing a Gundam kit with the Musume kit. It's kind of a weird transition. This one is another, it's not a Gundam parts, I don't think. But it's a very awkward transition here between these mechanical parts here and the body. This one's much more smooth thing with it just being these big wraparound wings like that. Very nice. Nice base too. It's just those two? Oh, I thought there was another image. No, just the two. Okay. But yeah, I definitely like this one. This one reminds me a lot of what's that figure that just came out from a Good Smile Company? It's anime. Faces that have the shape for lips, cheeks, and nose, but that's about it. Yeah. No, that's nice. Well, are these parts from something? They almost look like they're from that Build Fighters version of the Cubelay, but I know it's not. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that, but it's definitely not. I wonder what those parts are from, if those are just scratch built parts. These big ones out here. It's interesting. But cool color scheme on this one. I like this one. Where are those wings from? Yeah, I don't know. Comical nerd, where those wings are from. Here's some much more kind of, the other ones that we just seen previously were kind of much more fantastical. This one's like much more kind of, I don't know, robot-like, tank-like in a way, especially this one, of course, being based off of the, what's it, Charitum Gundam Saga? Or what's that? Yeah, kind of. Right? Well, interestingly, I don't know, it seems like somewhat designed off, or what's the kind of version of the Dynamace, basically the Charitum, anyway, I guess. But interesting, like how it has that 00 styling, but just like the colors and like the way that it's painted give it much more of like real like militaristic look, much less like cartoony than like the 00 designs generally tend to be. Really cool styling for that. So this would be the Gorai as the base model for this, and like these are MSG option weapons, like the submachine guns. They're on the front of the knees. Pretty cool how like the barrels of those sticking, that's like part of the knees sticking up so high. And this shield, I mean, it's a different mix of parts of like the Dynamace shield, just kind of parts kind of mixed around a little bit. It's interesting, really cool kit bash, very nicely painted and everything. The decals are a bit unfortunate. They almost look like it's just like sticker decals, not waterside decals, because they have the very noticeable outline around the decals on that. Just kind of, especially like up here, just unfortunate for just how nicely built everything is, and then how nicely painting it everything is. Then to see the decals to be kind of meh is a bit of a shame. But that's really cool. You can see it has the sword over there on the other side as well, which looks to be in gold. Kind of cool accent color there for that. And this one's really nice. Very cool colors. Yeah, like the pink line like there on the skirt section right there, that pink amongst the black. A bit scratched there, unfortunately, but I mean, without nitpicking it, it's a really cool design. This one also based on the Go-Rai as well, right? Isn't it? I mean, it's a mix of different stuff. I mean, like there's Jinrai parts and a bunch of different MSG parts, and like the face is from the Griffin, I believe, and some of these are Griffin parts. So it's kind of a mix of everything, I guess. A lot of different stuff. Go-Rai, Jinrai, Griffin. I think the skirt section is either from the stylet or the architect. So anyway, a lot of stuff, and then a lot of armor parts from different MSG armor sets and MSG option sets. But really cool color scheme, cool design, nice painting, nice decals, better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. I like it. Very cool. Ooh, this one reminds me, who's this from? Marchin. Really reminds me a lot of the Ninetales kit that was on that Frame Arms Girl. What is it? Megami Device Mook that I did a review of. I can't remember the exact name of the Mook. It was a Megami Device. It's a Megami Device modeling Mook. I don't know, just like the color scheme and everything of this reminds me of that Asura Ninetales kit that was on the cover of that. But really interesting hair parts. I'm gonna guess those are like custom garage kit hair parts. That's the other thing that exists definitely a lot more in Japan than anywhere else outside of Japan, is people selling like garage kit hair parts for Mecca Musume kits, usually a Frame Arms Girl, Megami Device kits like that. So it'll just give you parts like that, would just give you, options for different hairstyles, and they're much more detailed. Like this, you can see is like the lines of the hair is so much more detailed than what you typically get. Usually they're pretty detailed. They look pretty good, like the ones you get from with the kit from Kotobukiya, but this one's much more like sharply detailed. But really cool with like the carbon fiber pattern on there. Not sure how that was done. It's kind of difficult to tell if that, I mean, because those parts are fairly small. I wonder if that's like a film stuck over that. You can get like a carbon fiber and other different kind of patterns you can get as like film sheets that you can kind of, it's basically like a sticker you can wrap around the parts and just kind of work into place. Either that or those parts might be hydro dipped, or that might just be painted on there. I don't know. It's, I mean, certainly wouldn't be easy to do, but I mean, I guess you could just paint that on there carefully. It would take a long time. It looks really great. Looks really great. Very nice colors for this one. The mix of like the just white and pink with the silver and little bits of kind of pale gold. Then you have like this dark purple. It's almost black, but like a dark purple high gloss sections in there. And then even down to some orange. This is a weapon. I was wondering what this was, like looking at it as a whole. It wasn't immediately obvious to me, but now I can see. It's a big, massive, like a hammer type weapon. And it's got some orange parts and a nice kind of yellowish orange gradient there on those. It's also pretty cool. It's really nicely painted. A lot of colors. This is another one where there's a lot of different colors going on, but they're all tied together pretty well. I feel like, because you've got the skin tone, the like metallic pink, and then the carbon fiber, the silver, the gold, that like super dark purple, the pink, white, yellow, orange, pink, silver. There's a lot of that. It looks great though. Very cool. And the face, really nice. Just to take a look at that one more time. The orange for the eyes. Those again, I'm sure those must be custom decals, I'd imagine, because it's custom hair parts too, I'm sure. Without knowing exactly what set it is, you can pretty much guess that. It's from Simamu 0218. This one looks pretty cool as well. It's kind of hard to see the weapon because it's like blurred because in the foreground, but it's like a cool bow that looks like it's made out of leg parts from the Soul Roadrunner. which is interesting. Basically using the lower legs, that's like the knee joint, from the knee joint down, and kind of not using the feet. The feet are changed, but like using the lower legs of that kit to turn them into a bow is pretty interesting. And I don't know, it's some kind of wire used, which looks pretty cool. Rather than using like an actual plastic piece, I don't know what kind of wire that is, but just a small gauge wire looks good for the string of the bow. This one again has some custom hair parts. That might just be just custom made. I'm not sure if that's like an actual resin parts set, or that might just be just custom made as it is. It's kind of hard to tell, but again, cool color scheme with this. Really nice, like kind of unified color scheme. It's just basically white, black, and red. For the most part, you have a little bit of that kind of blue-green for like the clear parts there in the background, but nice color scheme on the mix of some frame arms parts in there as well. Really cool. Let's see. Here's an Asura Archer. Classic kit. Really nice painting on this one as well. Super smooth, especially on the face and the hair. Look really good. That's again a different face on that. I'm not sure if that's hand painted or decal for the eyes. This looks might be hand painted. It's kind of hard to tell, but with like all the different dots of color in there, I don't think I've seen any decals that look like that, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. They very well could. But in like the grading on the hair looks really good. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Modeled by Noritaka Fukamoto. Body provided and modeled by Masaki Apsi. Yeah, just that's who designed the kit. But yeah, that's super nice. I really like this color used for the blade. This kind of dark metallic gray color used for the blade of that looks really nice. And the sword catches the light really nicely with the little bit there at the end. That looks really good. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better archer kits that I've seen painted for sure. This is a good one. From Ruan Takwan. Ruan. Again, really nice just character here with just the face and the hair parts. Just kind of really make it there, giving you a really cool character. And then you have the rest of the kit is all really nicely done as well. Interesting look for this kind of silver, how it almost looks like slightly weathered. I would say that's probably not intentional, so it looks a bit weird, or it might be intentional. And also really nice use of these green bits in here. I'm guessing that's bits of green like sticker film here for these little tiny green accent, kind of little camera accents there. That's nice in there. Again, really nice mix of metallics and non-metallic paints there with the gray, white, like almost black, very dark gray, and that gunmetal color. And then for her outfit, the gold lining, everything on there. Really nice colors on this one. Really cool. And the painting, the face, and everything. Yeah, it's a good one. Let's see. Get in a few more. And I'm not going to have too long of an episode today. I just wanted to take a look at some of this stuff here with you guys. But, well, this is a photo of a photo from a magazine. So I don't know if this is this person's work. Maybe not. Maybe it's just stuff that they liked from a magazine. So it looks like maybe this is their work and this is just stuff they like. But cool stuff there. Anyway, this being a custom stylet with some MSG weapons there and another custom stylet. There you go. Oh, there was one more, wasn't there, that I missed? Oh, that's pretty cool. Interesting. So what are those parts? Well, these are, what's the name of that? Base lard parts, right? No. Cutlass. Yeah, that's what it was. The frame arms cutlass. There's a couple of different variants of it. It's a variant of the base lard. But I don't remember if the base lard has these parts here. Anyway, nice mix of that parts from an actual frame arms kit with the frame arms girl body there, which looks like it's maybe just the architect body. I believe. And then the mask part fits really well with the design. Just, yeah, those are base load parts up there as well. So very nice mix of parts there, and the colors. I mean, with it being a very pretty simple color scheme, just gray, black, and gray. And then you just have a couple little bits of purple, and then obviously the clear bluish green part in there. But aside from that, like the colors on the kit are kept pretty minimal. Like to not have any of that purple above the waist at all, I think would have been like a hard decision to know, like, oh, should I add like a little bit of purple up here in these parts? Would have been very tempting, but to keep it looks like there might be something in purple like on the backpack, maybe something back there possibly. It's kind of hard to see, but to keep the purple as minimal as it is, I think definitely is a difficult kind of thing to plan when you're just planning a color scheme for a kit like this. But it's really nicely done, the color scheme on that, actually. Glad we took a second look at that one. All right, these are interesting parts here. Very interesting mix of parts with this. Those are the big claw parts from the Ganesha version of the Shitara Kanashiya kit. That's cool, and has a, it looks like it's kind of made to look like that those are like the hand parts, like her hands are going into that part, but it looks like the hands are just gone, like this, the space where the hands should be, and they're just not there. But it's a really interesting use of those parts. I mean, the use of them. What are these parts up here? Those also look super familiar. Like those are from a Gundam kit. Those are side skirt parts from shoot, yeah, I can tell there's side skirt parts from something, and I know it's from the wing, from the from the wing Verka, I believe. Maybe. I think that's right, though. I think those are side skirts from the wing Verka, interestingly enough. Weird. Cool. Ooh, here, speaking of the Durga, this is the Durga kit. I know it's obviously got some customization going on here, but that's really nice, actually. The character face and hair and like the color scheme and the design of everything for the character works really well. That's really nice. That blue and gold and white looks really nice on that. That's really cool. And this one, the Hrzvelgar, I think it's the first Hrzvelgar we've seen. Maybe that's what those clear parts we saw earlier were from. I was thinking they were from the Rayfalks? I don't know. Or maybe they are, possibly. Yeah, from the Frame Arms kit. I think they are. They're not from the Hrzvelgar, actually, yeah. So I think I was right with that before. But they work really well with the Hrzvelgar here. I've actually not built one of these Frame Arms kits, any version of the Hrzvelgar. There's quite a few. This one, I believe, well, I'm not sure if the body is customized or not, if it's a custom body section. One of you guys can let me know if you know for sure. That looks a little bit different, but I'm not sure. But all these, this one here, all really nicely done. I mean, nicely painted, and especially really nice just photography presentation of them. They look really good. So those are really cool. Who's that from? I am following them. Okay, and they follow me too. Okay, good. And this one too. Okay. So these are, whoa, no, I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of the kit? The Frame Arms kits. What's the name of that? So this is a stylet, but it's mixed with that other kit. I actually built one of the variants of it. But there's a couple different variants of this Frame Arms kit. They've not made a proper Frame Arms girl version of that, though, yet. But here's somebody who could just kind of took the initiative and made one on their own. A couple different ones here. A stylet, but this has like the leg parts and arms, I think, maybe, from... and definitely the weapon from the other kit as well. The body is just painted. It's, the stylet, but the other parts are from the other kit. What's the name of that now? It's gonna bother me. Let's see. Frame Arms all kits. Hopefully we can find it right away. That one. This is one of the versions of it. Gentao. Gentao. Yeah. This one. Jidao. That's what it was. That's what this is here. So it's a mix of the stylet and the Jidao. This one, and that gun is also from this kit. And even has the little bug antennas on the top as well. So that's really cool. This one, it's another variant of that kit, but it's, oops, I just saw it. Yeah, this one. Bergflinker. Anyway, obviously painted in different colors, much different from that bright red that it is in that version of it, but really nice mix of those parts though. This one, what's the base girl kit in this case? It's kind of hard to tell. The other one's definitely the stylet here for sure, but this one I'm not sure. That might also be the Jinrai, maybe. But really cool. These are, yeah, both really nice. It's really nice mix of the parts, the frame arms girl and the frame arms kits. The red one, yes, exactly. All right, let's see. Here's something different. It's almost like kind of, oh, okay, I think I know Cadillac, yes. I'm familiar with his work. Really, this is a really cool person to follow for his work in progress photos. He shares a Cadillac, Passing Cadillacs, the name. Shares really great work in progress photos. I think so. I think it's the same person I'm thinking of. Just based on the models, it looks like that. But very kind of like a alien of H.R. Geiger-esque here, just like with the design and the painting of them. Much different. I mean, like, so different from like everything that we've seen so far, all the different kits we've been looking at. It's just like such a different style with these. It's really cool just to see something that different, but like some really interesting kit bash here going on with like obviously the bug wings on there and like just the pointy feet, everything. It's really interesting just how just unique and different. Ooh. Interesting. So, I mean, it looks. Oh, it's based on the magical girl, but it's made to look like the Asura Tamamo no Mai, and some of the parts are from the Asura Tamamo no Mai, but at least the head is from the Chaos and Pretty Megami Device kit, and the body's like a mix of stuff. It's mostly the Asura Ninetales or Tamamo no Mai kit. Tamamo no Mai, yeah, because it has the feet. And like the color scheme from that kit, but interesting. Just obviously a much darker skin tone. That's just custom painted. Kotobuki has yet to make any skin tone of any of their kits quite this dark. But really cool paint job on that. How they kind of changed up the bright. They kept like the bright green of the original design, but changed it up like slightly how it's all like kind of different. There's just like little bits of bright green here and there, and even where it's like meant to look like kind of an entire part, it's like gradiented with white here and here. There's not like a lot of this part. Maybe looks like it's like just solid bright green, but even areas where there's bright green, it's kind of toned down. This is really interesting too. Like these decals here on this black part are kind of like, you can see this circle one's definitely white, and the other ones though are not white. They're like a, oh, what is that? I wonder if that's masked and not, or how that's done, because it's definitely got like a bright, it's got that same like bright green undertone, so it looks like it was like masked, like this part was maybe painted bright green originally, like first, and then they masked those parts. Or how would they even do that? Bright green, then white over the top of it, like lightly, and then mask that, and then paint it black. But I don't know, that looks interesting. And then you go up here, and these clear parts painted like that, which obviously you can tell they look like they were clear blue. and then probably painted like some silver on top of that, and then some clear green on top of the silver, it looks like, for like around the edges. So keeping like the clear bluish green there, which is the original color of those parts there towards the center, and then just painting the outside part either silver or white, I guess, maybe, but it looks like kind of silvery. Very interesting paint stuff going on with this one. Very cool. All right, let's maybe look. There's a lot of really cool ones to see. I want to keep going with these, but we're going to wrap up the episode here pretty soon. We'll take a look here at a few classics in the line here, especially, sadly, I think this is the first version of Shitara Kanashiya we've seen so far today, which is one of my favorite kits, if not my favorite kit, Mecca Musume kit. But so unfortunately we didn't see too many more of them, but here's one at least. But a very different color scheme for this one. Gave it kind of that police Pat Labor kind of color scheme of just like white and black. It's kind of interesting color scheme for this design. And then these parts are customized. The lower like engine parts are basically the same, and the legs are basically the same. It's just the upper parts are quite different. It's still got like the same claw part, but it has like just the addition of some like gun turrets and stuff up there, which is, and like these swords and stuff. So some just different equipment added onto there. It's kind of interesting. That is really cool. And I think somebody's a fan of black and white. So there's a lot of that here. This one, the Susanoo, keeping the clear red, but then changing the rest of it to basically mostly black and white, just with the addition of some gold. And this one, black and white, and that's these parts are molded gold, and then there's some other painted gold accents added in there. It looks like, so it's a mix of painted and unpainted parts there for the different gold parts. But they definitely have a color scheme that they like, and they're sticking to it. So there you go, black and white with different accents in there. Well, this one's really cool too. I just want to take a look at this real quick, because I actually had a few people ask since we've been doing the contest for this. And again, just a reminder, now that we're coming to the end of the episode here, getting ready to wrap up, that the reason that I chose to do this particular topic for this episode was just because we have the Mecca Musume contest ongoing. You still have more than a month. You have still almost a month and a half left to the deadline of October 14th for that. So still plenty of time to work on an entry for that if you guys want to enter, if you've not started on anything yet. But so check that out. All the information you guys need on that is over on the USA Gundam TV YouTube channel about the contest. But there's also information on the USA Gundam Store, usagundamstore.com website. There's a page on there with all the contest information for you guys. Anyway, regarding the contest, a couple people had asked if you're allowed to use stuff like this, like cloth and other like non-plastic materials, and you absolutely are allowed to. It's something, I mean, I don't see it super often, but I mean, it's definitely something that exists for people who are into doing Mecca Musume modeling. I mean, like, definitely from time to time, and especially in books, I've seen it. Like, I don't see it done that often, like in stuff that I see on Twitter. But as far as like what actually ends up in like publications of like Frame Arms Girl and Megami Device magazines or MOOCs like that I've looked at, there's definitely a much more noticeable use of like fabrics and stuff like this used with the kits. I think it's really difficult to do just because of the scale of it. I mean, because like the kits are technically 1-to-1 scale, so it should look right. Because I mean, like, that's how 1-to-1 scale cloth will look on 1-to-1 scale model kit. But you guys, you know what I mean? Like, to make it look like realistic, like how cloth looks on like the scale of like a normal person, a human, it's difficult to make it look quite right. But this is really nice actually, and like really just nice, like I don't know, pose and form composition of the photo is really nice, and like the different materials used, different fabrics, and like string, I don't know what you call that, like a string rope kind of materials there for that. Really nice. Yeah, I actually don't really like, personally, the use of fabric on kits like this. It's another thing, kind of like the mixing of Gundam model kits with them. Most of the time, I think, in my opinion, it doesn't look that good, but this is definitely a really nice looking example of that. So very cool. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up then for today. Just going to be slightly shorter than usually. I think Josh and I usually did about an hour and a half, but just going to go for that much today with it being just me. Hopefully next episode, I don't know when it's going to be. It's not going to be like next week, or I don't even know if it's going to be any other time later this month. But whenever it is that Josh and I can get together, whenever we get to doing the next episode, it'll be the two of us, not just me. So we can get Josh, and we haven't seen him here for a while. I've talked with him, but you guys haven't seen him here on my channel for a long time. So hopefully we can get him on and we can do another episode in the future, and we'll take a look at some more cool stuff on Twitter. But thank you guys for hanging out today. Hope you have a nice Friday afternoon wherever you guys are, and a nice weekend. I'll have what's coming up next week. Well, the RG God Gundam review. Of course, if you guys missed the live stream of that yesterday, you can check that out. But I went ahead and got the review done for that today. I just need to edit the review, so I'll do that on Monday. But again, on Monday morning, tune in to the USA Gundam TV channel. Adam and I will be live on Monday morning. You can check that out. And then the God Gundam review will probably be going up then later in the afternoon on Monday. After that, next week, I'm not sure. Just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that I'm working on. So stay tuned. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out, and I'll see you later next week. Bye-bye.